now? Is that it? Am I on? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the way in which I've got this shot set up for it as well, it's like as if we're doing like some sort of like Star Trek conference call, and I'd love to see that in an episode. I would love to see that in an episode. Be all like, they're hailing us, Captain, on screen, and then the aliens all like, and then Picard's all, we can't hear ye.
Checkmate, you patah.
Somebody just threw a full McDonald's milkshake past my window there, and it's just went all over the street. Okay. People are losing their minds.
Is George a fan of Star Trek?
Not really. It's really hard to know what George is a fan of. Bar chess. He loves chess, and that's it.
Right.
And comedy. It's hard. Like, you know, you watch a Star Trek with me. It's the kind of thing, like, if me and George are eating in the house, like, if I make dinner or if I, like, make us something for lunch, we'll sit down in front of the TV and we'll watch something. But guaranteed, it's because, like, anytime he'll go, oh, knock on this, and then I'll go, but, you know, we're going to have finished eating within 10-15 minutes of watching the thing, and then once we're finished eating, he'll just go out and continue to play chess on his PC, and then just leave me sitting there watching this episode or something. So if I want George to watch something, it has to be 10 or 15 minutes long, so we can watch it while we eat, that kind of thing. I'll strategically like line up a Star Trek episode so it's just as we're about to eat, so I can go, oh, look at that. That's really cool, isn't it? The kind of thing.
Sure, we'll just keep it on.
Yeah.
Keep it on, sure now. No, TNG's quite good for like dipping in and dipping out of, because it doesn't have the big sort of multi-episode arcs that Deep Space Nine had. You know,
yeah.
If you just dived in to Deep Space Nine and Series 5, you wouldn't be able to appreciate it.
Yeah,
whereas if you just started watching, you know, Star Trek Next Generation from Series 5, you'd be like, oh, and then you can work your way back. And
yeah.
There's other than certain big things like Locutus of Borg and like Klingon Civil War, you know, there's certain things that, you know, other than those few things, there's very little continuity. You can dip in and out. Did you watch Lower Decks?
I watched the first 2 episodes of Lower Decks, and whilst I was like, oh, this is really cool, I like all those little references to Star Trek, it just felt so fucking desperate. And it's at this point in the edit, folks, that I would probably put a little clip up of Lower Decks just to illustrate how annoying it is. But every single clip I looked at annoyed me so much, I just didn't want to include it. And I like a copyright strike for it, but we'll just continue with the podcast. In a weird way, it was like, it's as if somebody went, let's make Star Trek, but it's like gotta be like Final Space and Rick and Morty and SpongeBob, and characters have to talk really fast and every line has to be a joke. And I was just like, it just turned me off. I would have loved, like, do you remember the animated series of the original series?
And it was Filmation, the people that did He-Man and She-Ra and Brave Star.
And it took itself deadly serious.
There are not many places one could hide in here.
Oh. I must have taken a little nap.
Doctor, you are a man of curious habits, but I have never known you to nap on the laboratory floor.
I would have loved to have seen that as like a Star Trek animated series. I thought that would have been better.
It's on Netflix. I think all the Star Trek are on Netflix. But I liked Lower Decks, and then Picard. I really liked Picard. I like Discovery, but it's.
You liked Picard.
Discovery's. Pardon?
You liked Picard.
I did like Picard. I have to say, there's an episode called Nepenthe, and Picard comes round the corner, and there's Riker and Deanna Troi in their wee garden, and I had this big whale of emotion. It was a bit like, oh my god, I've missed these characters.
Like I said, when they announced Picard was coming back, I was one of those people doing cartwheels in the streets. And then I cancelled my Amazon account after the heist episode, when I think we talked about this in the last podcast, where Picard's dressed as a fucking pirate, and then they go, "What?" They go, "What are you wearing?"
Oh, I thought that I looked appropriately sinister.
I have no idea what's going on. And it was just too cringe. And then I was like, after that episode, I just went, just beep, cancelling my Amazon account. I am not.
You didn't even just stop watching it. You cancelled your whole Amazon.
Yeah. I'm not kidding you. That is what happened. Instead of just going, I've given up on Star Trek Picard, I went, I never want to even have access to it.
I got up to season 16 for our meeting, for our discussion. I made my notes. But
yeah, I made notes this time. I learned my lesson from last time. David, do you want to kick it off with what was it? Was the Lonely Among Us?
Lonely Among Us.
It
was I hated it. I think it's probably one of the ones that I hated the most so far from season 1. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the two alien species, the Silai and what were the other ones called? The
fucking
the
the shaved mole rats.
Lieutenant Yar was confused. We no longer enslave animals for food purposes.
But we have seen humans eat meat.
You've seen something as fresh and tasty as meat, but inorganically materialized out of patterns used by our transporters.
Sickening.
And then the big cobras from He-Man, basically.
Oh yes, King Cobra. Ooh. And so they hate each other. They live in the same star system, and they hate each other. And then you've got the big mad energy being, which seems to be something that Roddenberry. I think this is why, and we keep touching on this and we keep talking about this. Why do we not like Star Trek the original series? And it's these energy beings that are so beyond everything. There's worse that I can't get into the storyline because I don't know. I hate that storyline. I hate that, and there seems to be quite a few of these in season 1.
Yeah.
Big energy beings that come from nowhere, and how do you contact them? They're so powerful, and what's the point? And
yeah, they get to have like a little speech at the end of every episode about there's things out there we don't understand, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ, again.
I'm leaving Starfleet, Captain. This is fucking shit. I just want to maybe go and open a bar on Risa and just have a good time. I don't want to be encountering energy beings that just kill you.
We see, there's a little note I made here that stood out for me in that episode, right? So obviously this energy being transfers itself between crew members until eventually it gets to possess Picard. But then Picard beams himself over into this big cloud of energy and basically becomes one with it, right?
Yes.
So then the Data goes, hold on a second. It looks as if Picard's consciousness is still in the ship. Let's go to the transporter room and basically beam in a big cloud of dust from that nebula onto the transporter pad using Picard's signature, and then he's back again. And then I was like, is this a new Picard?
But isn't that a question that every time you use the transporter,
yeah,
it's a new you?
See, I'm the technical manual. It basically goes, the particles are fired over to the area and then reconstructed. I'm in the mindset, it's like, it's not you're not being reconstructed from matter over there. You're being reconstructed from matter that's being sent from your location. That's the way I'm gonna go with it, to get around that whole trick of everybody's dead.
But you're transformed into energy and then turned back into matter. So are you the? I'm not saying I have the answer. I'm not saying I have the answer to the age-old question of every time you're transported, are you a different person?
Remember that episode? That episode where Barclay is terrified of teleporting, and he sees those little worms in the transporter beam. it's really weird because you kind of get to see teleportation from the POV of the person being teleported, and it seems like it's like you don't lose consciousness. You know what I mean? You're just kind of surrounded by static until eventually everything fades back up and you're in your new location. So I like to imagine that the teleportation, it's not like you're not conscious for a few seconds and then I think you're aware the whole way through the transport.
That's horrifying.
But what other thing? Like I say, we got a ton of episodes to get through because I foolishly because remember last week I was like, we watched 5. That was dead easy. Let's watch 10. Yeah.
Sheer fucking hubris.
Yay!
Let's watch 10. We've time for. I just thought, Lonely Among Us. Even if you want to move on, because like I just did.
Yeah, Lonely Among Us is
episode?
A pish episode. It doesn't need dissecting in any way.
Skip it. So
my
episode 8.
My next one, this one, yeah, the Justice, I think is up there with one of my favorite episodes of season 3. Season 1, sorry.
Season 1. Really? I put
Yeah.
down Planet of the Horny Aryan Bodybuilders.
This will please you. Join us. Thanks. Another time.
Because was it Riker and Tasha Yar? It's kind of insinuated that they've been on the planet already to scope it out. And the way they talk about their experiences of being on the planet, oh no, everybody, you're gonna love it.
Class M, Earth-like. Beautiful. It will startle you.
So it's almost like they've been down there shagging flat out. Whenever they're going, right, okay, let's go down to this planet, and they're all on the bridge and they're all talking about it, and Geordi says something like,
they're wild in some ways, actually puritanical in others. Neat as pins, ultra lawful. They make love at the drop of a hat.
And then Tasha Yar goes,
any hat.
The minute they say that, in a really weird moment, Picard gets up and goes, okay, let's go have an away team and we'll go down. Oh, Wesley, I think this would be an excellent opportunity for you to understand what it's like to be a Starfleet officer going on an away team. And I'm like, Picard, were you just kind of like zoned out there when they were talking about all the writing and you didn't hear them?
All the pure, because what age is he meant to be? 12?
Yeah!
After what you said, any hat. I'm just like imagining, like Tasha Yar, like throwing a fez off. Shag me. You know what I mean? Like what even was? But I think this is why it was such a shame that Tasha Yar doesn't stick around, because she could have become such an amazing character.
I know.
Because she was like a pure shagger. Like she loved
Yeah.
a bit of man. She loved just, she worked hard and she played hard. And I think that she could have been a really good character.
Yeah, I reckon they could have built a really interesting kind of, because there is almost insinuated that there is like a bit of a love story between Data and Yar.
Data, you are fully functional, aren't you?
Of course, but
How fully?
in every way, of course. I am programmed in multiple techniques. A broad variety of pleasuring.
Oh, you jewel, that's exactly what I hoped.
Even after she dies, like, because he has like a little hologram of her that he keeps, and I would have loved to have seen that. It would have been a better love story than fucking Odo and fucking not Jad, what's her name, Kira.
If only they knew the real you.
That is the real me. At least as far as everyone else is concerned.
Disgusting!
I didn't like it. No, I agree with that. I didn't like it.
Fucking hated that. That was so shit. When that started creeping up in Deep Space Nine, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Rob's saying there that's right, and that's the Justice episode. Their god that's in space is basically just a voyeur, just watching all these people leaping around in their pants.
And what is it? A big machine? Is it a big? What is it?
They never understand what it is. It's a spaceship of beings that exist between dimensions, and they've kind of
like watching white blonde people have sex.
Yeah. It was really weird. It kind of got me thinking. And that's a kind of like there's a trope in Star Trek where it's like, oh, they come across an alien planet, they go down, they're not that civilized, and they disprove their god, basically, and they go, oh, you've been worshipping this guy. Oh no, we've just found out this is actually a very evil man with technology, and he's pretending to be a god. And I always think that'd be a really cool fucking short story or movie where an alien race lands on Earth and basically disproves our religions and goes.
All our religions.
Yeah.
It was one of us all along.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then plus, don't go on the flower bed, fucking Wesley. But it's the thing.
On the grass. Yeah, he's racked up, and he went. I don't know. You see, there was going back to whenever they were all meeting. This, as you said, so this is the for the second time. This is Riker and Tasha are coming down the second time, and they come all over. They run over. They kind of the people on this planet run everywhere like slightly innocent gazelles. They run everywhere with their little plimsolls, like little.
Yeah.
I don't know. So then they come over and Troy. So Troy's half Betazoid, so she grew up on a planet where you get married with no clothes on, and yet I thought she came across as quite prudish. I thought she came across a bit like, oh no. And then Worf comes over, like the girl, and Worf kind of does this kind of, I think I could like this planet, and it goes like, so are Klingon willies ridged like their heads?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with the universal penis. All penises on humanoid species are the same throughout the universe. Maybe it's like leopard print or something like that. Maybe.
Willies are like a fingerprint. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're individual to each person. I'm imagining Klingon ones to be like. Do Trill ones have like the Trill willies have like wee spots down the side?
We've a little comment there. Apparently, Klingon penises are ridged.
Oh.
There you go. I was wrong. But yeah, and then just this fantastic another.
Wind back. Sorry, Adam. I want to wind back to that thing. Apparently, they are ridged. And where in the canon is this? Where in the canon?
Yes, Daniel, if you can expand a little bit, or even a link, give us a URL to where this information is. We're very happy for that. But yes, and going back to Justice, and it was a rare thing. It was like George was watching the episode. This is me strategically watching it whenever George is in the room. And he falls through the flower bed, they come in and they go, any crime, any breaking of the law is punishable by death. And then they turn to Tasha and they go,
I thought you reviewed their laws.
But they listed nothing about punishment.
And you're like, that goes hand in hand with the law. And then it's the kind of, if you're a species that kills people at the drop of a hat, that's the first thing you fucking tell people.
Yeah. By the way, welcome to our planet. Don't do anything wrong or we'll kill you. Otherwise, just have a great time.
Okay, Daniel is this ridged Klingon penis comes from his knowledge that there are Klingon condoms that are apparently ridged. But then that's why would a Klingon need a ridged condom if his dick's ridged anyway? I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on this, Daniel.
He just needs an ordinary condom. Yeah, he just needs an ordinary condom. No, sorry, Daniel. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd really like Justice. Justice is a really good episode for butts and boobs, and
butts and boobs, and just everyone's blonde. Like everyone's blonde. There's not even like a dark-haired person. There's no melanin.
Oh fuck, that's right.
In this episode.
Are there any black people on the planet?
No.
Were they all white?
They're all. I didn't see any black people in the background.
I can't think if I saw a black person standing there. Yeah,
Aryan. Didn't see any Asian. Didn't see anything that was not white. So you sort of start to go, okay. There's a lot of racism in the galaxy. Do you know? Was there a eugenics thing? Do you know apparently there were like a really horrible. There were really horrible people before this god came along and made them just sort of like sex addicts.
Yeah.
Who healthy respect for authority. Did they kill everybody who wasn't white before the god came along? You know, there's not enough ethno-diversity really for me to.
To kind of comment. Because I suppose in a society like that where it's like the final word on everything is death, I think they would probably, they would go down the eugenics road. I don't think it would be a big leap in logic for them to go down eugenics. But then again, if everybody's fucking leaping around all healthy and beautiful all day anyway, I suppose, what if they, I mean, because there were nobody there with any sort of, like, disabilities or anything? No, it's a Nazi planet,
Or
definitely.
anyone over the age of 35. Do you know what I mean? There were no elderly people. There was just people, right?
Okay. Daniel's saying here in the comments that they were seeded on the planet, so they came from one group of people that settled on the planet. Interesting.
What does that mean? Like, does that mean that they were?
It was their god, the spaceship in the sky. I think it was insinuated that these dimensional beings in this spaceship planted that race on the planet billions of years ago, and then they all evolved into big, lanky, fit-looking people.
White people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So basically these trans-dimensional people are like Aryan white supremacists.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, what's going on here? You know.
Quantum Nazis. It's gonna be
Quantum Nazis.
Quantum Nazis.
You liked. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
I think it was.
All the women's hair.
I think it was because it's a really good episode that showcases how bad the episodes can get, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the butts and boobs. Maybe it's just like, yay, butts and boobs.
I like the idea of like random justice.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, careful, you never know when you're, you know, because like, does that mean if he had fallen into the bushes, if it wasn't an enforcement zone, he'd have been fine.
Yeah. I know the likely chances of him being in it, like, but then
fucking unlucky, Wesley.
Yeah, I think these moderators though, it could be like it could be rife for corruption. Like a moderator could turn around and be like, "Oh, this is the zone today," and you're like, "Is it?"
You won't have sex with me? Oh, this is an enforcement zone. Die, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. It pushes her over and needs some floors or something like that. You broke the.
She's a criminal.
Yeah. No, not the new flowers. It's so good.
Not the new flowers. This has nothing to do with the fact that you rejected me. You're a criminal. And you take it. And they've got like a wee like syringe of deadly poison. Like just on their person.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think there's too much scope there for them just to like kill folk with.
Yeah, plus as well, it's a really interesting dynamic between Picard and Beverly in that episode as well, because she's sitting on the Enterprise, panicking that they're going to kill her son. And it's like, there's one moment where she turns to him, she's all like, "Oh, Picard, can we talk about getting my son out?" And Picard's all, "Not now." And you're like, Jesus, Picard, come on, man, it's for Wayne, like.
I find that really weird as well. I felt like the episode could have gone into that a wee bit more.
Yeah.
Where, Beverly as mother versus Picard as, representative of Starfleet and the Federation. Like, where's the greater good? And it could have gone into that a wee bit more. Where, as you said, it was a wee bit more like, please, Jean-Luc, don't let them kill my son. Fuck off, Beverly, I have enough on my plate. What's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Your child is just, it's the least of my worries at the moment. What was he fucking doing? I don't know. It was very, and then, like, what was he going to teach them to play baseball or something? Wesley was going to teach the kids how to play baseball.
Oh yeah, that's right.
All I need is a stick.
But I put that down to, because they were like, wait a minute, they'd never hit a ball with a stick. But I put that down to, they're a non-violent race, so they haven't made clubs and stuff like that. So at the end of the episode, they just teleport cross Wesley off, and they just go, "No, fuck it,